You wake up on a Tuesday morning, pick up your phone, and check your bank balance. The number says $1,842.73. You go about your week, and by Friday, you check again. Now the balance is $1,827.11. $15 is just gone. No ATMs, no card swipes, no bills. Nobody knocked on your door and asked for $15. Nobody sent you a bill. Your bank just quietly reached in and took it while you were living your life. They did it legally, in an amount small enough that most people never ask a question. Think about a bucket of water sitting in the middle of your kitchen. Every month, your paycheck pours in through the top. Then you drill a hole for rent, and water starts dripping out. You drill another for groceries. One more for electricity and the phone bill. You walk away because you expected those holes to be there. But while your back is turned, a hand sneaks up behind that bucket and pokes 4 tiny extra holes near the bottom. Each hole is so small you would never notice it just by looking at the bucket. Come back a year later and the bucket is half empty. All those unnoticeable pinholes are draining your account over time, turning the illusion of financial safety into constant, unexplained stagnation. Meet Jordan. Jordan starts a Tuesday with $87 in the bank and makes 3 normal purchases: a $4 coffee, $62 for gas, and $21 for dog food. Jordan does the math in the car and figures everything is fine. But behind the scenes, the bank sees those 3 purchases and does something Jordan doesn't know about. They process the biggest charge first. Processing the $62 gas charge first drops the balance to $25. So when the coffee and the dog food hit the account, Jordan is already in the negative. The bank stamps a $35 overdraft fee onto both. The bank calls this overdraft protection. If Jordan had no protection, the $4 coffee would simply be declined at the counter for $0 extra. Instead, the bank lets the coffee go through so they can send Jordan a bill for $35 for the favor of lending $4 for a few hours. Even if you are careful enough to never overdraft, the tolls continue. You are in a different city for the weekend and use an out-of-network ATM to pull out $40. You pay a $3.50 fee at the machine, and 3 days later, your own bank hits you with a $2.50 fee of their own. You just paid $6 to touch $40 that already belonged to you. That ATM didn't pull those bills from a vault. It sent a digital signal to your bank's computer to move some numbers. The actual cost of that transaction to the bank was about 27 cents. These fees do not cover the bank's costs. They are predatory tolls collected when you are tired, far home, or not paying attention. Then there is the trap of the free checking account. The bank tells you the account is free as long as you keep at least $1,500 in it at all times. That $1,500 is now frozen. You cannot use it, but the bank can. They take your locked-up money and lend it to someone else at 8% interest, collecting $120 a year while handing you back about 15 cents. You see this same exploitation of time when you deposit a check. The app updates your balance instantly, but a small message at the bottom says the funds will be available in 1 to 3 business days. For those 3 days, that money belongs to you, but only the bank can spend it. Multiply that delay across millions of account holders, and those few days turn into billions of dollars in revenue. Banks apply this same logic to geography. When Jordan buys something on vacation, the bank charges a foreign transaction fee. A tiny piece of data traveled through an undersea cable at the speed of light, a process that costs a fraction of a penny. But the bank charges $3 because Jordan's location changed for a week. Every day of processing delay and every geographic border is an opportunity for the bank to siphon revenue from money you are temporarily blocked from touching. Scale this up to your long-term savings. Jordan builds up $10,000 in a savings account. After a full year, it earns $1 in interest. Meanwhile, 3% inflation means that same cart of groceries or tank of gas costs $300 more than it did 12 months ago. While Jordan watches that $1 appear, the bank takes that $10,000 out the side door and lends it to someone else on a credit card at 24% interest. The bank earned $2,400 from Jordan's deposit. Even credit card rewards are baked into this system. Every time you swipe for 2% cash back, the store pays a fee to the card network. The store covers that cost by raising the price of everything on the shelf. meaning your reward is just a partial refund on a price that was already inflated. The most devastating leak occurs when you try to invest. A financial advisor offers to manage your money for a seemingly tiny 1.5% fee. Over 30 years, $100,000 growing at 8% becomes $1 million. But if you subtract that 1.5% fee every year, the return drops to 6.5%. Jordan ends up with $660,000. $340,000 vanished to a fee nobody thought to argue about. Most of these expensive, professionally managed funds perform worse than a basic index fund that costs almost nothing. Wealth is slowly siphoned away through the compounding of tiny percentages, often disguised as professional management or simple rewards. Let's add up Jordan's quiet leaks over 8 years. Maintenance fees, out-of-network ATMs, foreign transaction tolls, overdraft hits, and the purchasing power lost to inflation in a low-interest account. The total is $4,656. That is a used car in the driveway or 6 months of groceries. Jordan did nothing wrong, but the leaks didn't care. These fees are surprisingly fragile. Once you identify them and question why they exist, they tend to disappear. To start, move your money to an online bank or a credit union that doesn't have the overhead of marble lobbies. These institutions often offer 0 monthly fees and interest rates that actually keep pace with the economy. Next, find the overdraft protection setting in your app and turn it off. A simple declined card costs $0. Finally, read your statement line by line. If you see a service charge or maintenance fee, call the bank and ask them to waive it. You would be surprised how often they simply remove the fee because you asked. Stopping the leak of $15 on a Tuesday helps protect your financial autonomy. It provides the freedom to say no to things you don't want to do by refusing to fund a system that relies on your inattention. Tonight, open your banking app. Don't just look at the balance. Scroll back and find where the water is actually going.